Welcome, Trailblazers, Travelers, and Proxies. Today, I want to talk about all of the really cool new stuff that Hoyo has posted on their socials, going from 2.7 to 3.0, and because I'm just really excited. It all looks super, super cool, and I want an excuse to talk about it more and kind of read all about it and kind of try and figure out what's coming out with theory crafting. I do want to say that I'm not talking about spoilers. I don't look at spoilers. I don't know anything about them. So I do like the theory craft, so I will throw out theories, but it is not leaks. I do not know for certain that my theories are true or not. It's just me theory crafting. And in the background, I'll have a video of Pure Fiction, or not Pure Fiction, Memory of Chaos trying to 3-star floor 12, and then throwing up a bunch of images of what I'm talking about. And without further ado, let's get into it really quickly in 2.7, which we are currently in right now. You get a free standard 5-star if you log in between 2.7 and 3.0. You get to pick a free standard if you really want advice, which ideally you just pick a character that you really, really like. But Bronya is really, really strong. Her E1 is also really, really good. Or if you have both of those, Himiko is a great character for Pure Fiction, and she's just really fun to play anyway. So those would be my two options or choices. Then we have Sunday, which is really, really broken. And the interesting thing about him is that on their socials, they mention that he buffs summons. That word kind of triggered my I wonder why they use that word specifically, because he does make Jin Yuan better because he works with Lightning Lord, so in theory he also works with things like Numbi, which take separate action from the actual 5-star character that they're paired with. But bleeding on into the new stuff, we have a new character, Aglaea, or Aglaea, I don't know how to pronounce it, who is a new path. They are the Remembrance path, and I have a feeling that they're going to be like the summon type, like the path that's going to deal with summons and bringing in extra people to fight with you or for you, depending on how they want to make it work. Because in Sim Universe, which we have access to, the Remembrance path in Sim, it really only cares about freezing enemies, and I don't think that they would have an entire path dedicated to just one thing like that, especially since not everyone has ice weakness, even unless if they give every character in the Remembrance path the ability to give them the weakness. But then again, like Aglaea is a electric type, so she's not gonna freeze them anyway. So I have a strong feeling that they're gonna happen to something to do with summons. And if we move on from Aglaea, we actually get to see a preview of the Trailblazer, Stella and Kalis, or Celia and Kalis, or yes, Stella. Yeah, we have the key art, which looks absolutely all the key art looks fantastic. But we have a little pen, which I guess is like our weapon, for this path, and they are ice, which is interesting. And but the main thing that makes me think that they're a summon thing is if you look here, this little creature, I don't know if the creature has a race, is like, I don't know if we know the race's name, but this one specific is called Mem. It's going to be our travel companion for the new planet. I don't know if it will actually be a summon. If it is, that'd be really, really cool. Or it's going to act more like Clocky did in Penacony, where he's just kind of like a way to drive the story forward and kind of act as an exposition for the player. Either way, it'd be really, really cool. I'm really excited for Mem, and the Trailblazer key art looks really, really cool. So I'm really interested to see how they handle the new path. And then continuing onward, we have Fugue, which is coming in the later half of 2.7 Phase 2. And she seems to be a fire... I mean, we know she's a fire nihility, and we actually got to test her out in one of the events going on, where we briefly get to see Fuwe, but it mainly focuses on Sunday. It's an interlude mission. And she seems really cool. She seems to have a similar mechanic to how the Trailblazer has Super Break, but she does it a little differently while adding a second break bar. But I don't know how good she is, because obviously we only get to use her in that like enclosed space, and they don't let you look at her stats or scaling or anything. So I'm interested to see how she works. She might be worth pulling for Firefly team, but I'm not sure. Yeah, so that's Fuwe. And then moving on, we actually have I don't know if it's like a faction or if it's just a family or something, but we have the Ordain of the Chrysos Heir, which is currently a group of 8 characters. Obviously, we already know about Aglaea. She's a part of it. Then we have Tribby, which looks like a smaller character, kind of like Hook. I think she might be fire. Going off of all like the colors isn't necessarily that helpful, because Aglaea is like bright yellow, she has green eyes and all that stuff, but she's electric. So I don't know if I can even guess what elements these guys are without looking at leaks, which again, I don't. Or I try to avoid them, sometimes you can't help it. But then we have Anaxa, which kind of looks like Blade if he didn't get his hair turned black. He looks really cool. I'm trying to figure out what that like star thing is on his chest. If that's a part of his suit or if that's just a part of his body, which is interesting. I don't know. He's really interesting to me. And then we have Hycine. I don't know how to pronounce her name. But I have heard that this character, again, theory crafting here, that this character has been in Impact Third. So it's a similar scenario to how Himiko is from Impact Third, but she's also somewhere in Star Rail, and the same thing with Welt. So I would expect her specifically to be a very big player in the overarching story for either as an antagonist or a protagonist role for us or against us. So I'm really hyped for her a lot. She seems really interesting. Um, Especially since she has ties to Impact Third, so they're definitely gonna want to do stuff with that character. And then the second, like, I guess, portion of the Cryosis Heir, we have Matey, who this one I think is gonna be fire because he just has a bunch of fire-esque tattoos on his chest and neck. His hair is red, which again the color doesn't always really matter, but like the tattoos kind of scream fire. Um, Although it'd be kind of funny if he was ice. Cypher, which she looks interesting. She looks very similar to Lolly from Genshin Impact, but obviously her hair's different. She kind of has the same general color aesthetic, like her clothes palette. We have, how am I going to say your name? Castris? Oh, Castris, probably. Now I don't know if this is confirmed, but she looks like a Hersher from Impact Third. No, I haven't played the game. I just know very, very, very roughly about a few things. But she looks a lot like a Hersher, which basically Hershers are like Aeons from my understanding in the Impact Third universe. So she's a very strong character. So I don't know if this planet's just like like maybe they're at war with each other because there's three different paths governing the planet and they want control of it entirely. I don't know, but it would be really interesting if that's the road they go down because then you'd have a bunch of different ways to lay out the story quest, which would be interesting. And then last but not least, we have Phanon. I don't know. Um, Unironically, kind of reminds me initially of Phaethon from Zenless Sub-Zero, although he might be a taller model. This one I think is the hardest one to gauge because he just looks like a dude. Like he's just a dude. He might be like the calm, cool head, similar to how Lewoch is. Like he's very calm, very collected. Lewoch is more of a mysterious character though. He may not be. Out of all four, or I guess out of eight, because there's four. I'm most interested about Anaxa, and then obviously I mentioned about Hycine is gonna maybe be a big player. So like she's probably the one that I have my eye on the most in terms of story development. And then I think last but not least, we have the character that I am most excited for. I think I am so hyped for this character. It's not even funny. We have the Herta, ongoing joke. Herta's main air quote real form, I guess. I don't know how her puppets work, if they're an extension of her or if they're just a programming based off of her personality. Um, but we have the Herta, and I have seen, obviously, when you finish the interlude quest, you get a little tidbit of her at the end, and she just looks really interesting. She is the same path. She's erudition, so she's the same path as her 4 stars, along with the same element. But I don't know. I don't know what it is about her that makes her the most interesting to me. But of all the characters that have they've talked about or shown, she is the most interesting character to be by far. I am so hyped for her, and I might even pull for her, even though I don't know if I actually need her. I would assume, again, this is theory crafting, but I would assume that she's just like an upgraded version of her 4 star, so like she'll still function really well in a pure fiction team and things like that. At least I hope she does, because then I don't know what else she would do with erudition. I mean, erudition tends to do well in pure fiction anyway, so she's probably gonna do really well. Yeah, I don't know if you've seen the ending, which I'm not gonna show it on screen because the quest has been out for like 3 days, so I don't want to spoil anybody. But I highly recommend you do that. It's really really cool, and that really stoked the flames of like, okay, this character's really really awesome. Although I don't know when she's coming out. She might be coming out in like 2.8, 2.9 maybe. They could even put her out in 3.0. I'm not sure. There you go. There is the stuff about 2.7 to 3.0. A little sporadic, but again, like a lot of the characters just have key art, so like I can't go super in depth about what they do or like what elements they are, what paths they are. I can't really do any of that because they haven't said anything about them. Except her. Oh, I'm so excited for her. That's not even funny. Um, But with that said, let me know down in the comments below if there's any character that you're really excited for, or maybe like I might have missed something, which I don't think I did, but I might have missed something. Maybe there's another character that they teased, or maybe we now know someone's kit or something. I don't something like that. Um, so yeah, let me know down in the comments who you're most excited for. Again, it's pretty obvious I'm excited for Herta, but there's a bunch of really cool characters coming out, so I'm excited to see what everyone says. See y'all in the next one. Peace.